So, welcome to our U version 2 podcast. We have with us today my dear sister Hannah, who's actually the 6th of the 14th of the family. So, thank you for joining us today, Hannah. It is our pleasure to have you with us. And we want to learn from your experiences and share your journey with us. If I could just give a little bit
Thanks
of
for being here.
Thanks. A little bit of a disclaimer. As you know, this interaction is about discussion on happiness. Your personal life experiences and events may come up during discussion. Please allow them to flow. And if you're not comfortable sharing with others, we shall remove them from the broadcast. So please relax and let's enjoy this moment together. So,
Great.
If you let me begin with our first question. What does happiness mean to you?
Happiness to me means being in nature. I'm someone who loves nature, and I live beside a local park here in Sefton, and over lockdown I've been walking in it every day. So being in the open air, listening to the birds, seeing the local wildlife, that really brings me happiness. And happiness to me means being in nature, being at peace, and not thinking about anything apart from embracing what's around me.
Yeah, I have to say I agree wholeheartedly with. I can concur with it. Certainly, nature does put a smile on your face. Can you recall the last time you felt really, really happy?
Yeah, so I've just come back from being at home with Ruth. She's had twins there recently, so I just got back actually from Belfast last night into Liverpool, and I have to say, being with the baby, Isla's at home. Unfortunately, Iona's still in the hospital, but God willing, she'll get home at some stage in the next few weeks. But just looking at that new life really brought me happiness. I love children. I'm a midwife myself. So being with new life, being with children, so that happiness of just seeing a new life come into the world and just thinking about all the possibilities that comes with new life, with the baby, that just brought me happiness. You know, that newness, the new start. So I was happy just holding her as soon as just yesterday, but that brought me real happiness, I have to say.
Yeah, that's actually fantastic, and it's great news that our sister Ruth and her husband Stuart had the twins. So our prayers go out to them in their time of need at the minute, and sensitivity of two young babies brought into the world, having to grow up and struggle. So that's great. So only as recently as a few days ago, do you think happiness fades away with time?
Yeah, I think yeah, you can it fades away with time, or if you don't pursue it. So it would be easy for me not to bother going out and doing things that I enjoy or bring me happiness. So maybe I don't bother going out for a walk today in the park, and that would affect how I feel or affect that pursuit of happiness, as you say. So I think it's something that if you engage with it and you pursue what makes you happy, or bring yourself to a place where you're going to be able to embrace that, that will help. So I think you have to consciously think about it every day, and put yourself in a place where you can capture that. So of course, happiness from different events will fade. I just got an invite recently to a wedding in September, and that person, there'll be a big build up to the wedding. They'll have the wedding, but it's what comes after that, isn't it? So I think, of course, happiness can be associated with events or different life things, but that will fade once that event happens. So it needs to be a pursuit of it. And I think whenever you do have things to look forward to, that does help you. But whenever they're gone, you can't just persistently have things to look forward to. You need to be able to live in the moment and be happy with where you are and what you're doing.
Yeah, some very good points there, Hannah. You must be reading the same books as me.
No, it's a life experience. I've just learned them as I've gone along.
That's fantastic. I would like to ask you if it's okay for you to sort of say who am I? And, any things that come to mind, start your phrase with, I am. And, repeat that sentence a few times as we get an idea of who is Hannah.
Yeah, so I'm a female. I'm quite proud to be a female, especially in these times. Whenever, there's lots of discourse out there. I work in women's health. I'm a midwife, so I'm a female and I'm a midwife. So something I'm very passionate about is women's health, caring for women at that time whenever they're having children. And so I'm proud to be a woman and a female and a midwife and someone who's championed those causes for women and their children. So I am, a woman. I am a midwife. I am a daughter, so I have a close relationship with my parents, and that's a principal identity of mine. I am also a sister and an auntie, and their identities also that are very strong. And I do get happiness from, being an auntie and from engaging with my nieces and nephews, and from being a sister. A lot of my principal relationships are with family. I would speak to, some of my siblings every day, or my mother, most days as well. So I am all of those titles associated with family as well. I am also a Christian and a believer in Jesus, and I am someone who prays a lot and seeks out to do the will of God. So I am a Christian. I am an intercessor, someone who prays for people, and I get a lot of happiness and a lot of joy in my life from doing that and seeking out to do God's will for my life.
Fantastic things there. There's a common theme of family within and friends within your comments. I think they are things that are very important and actually can bring happiness to us. But like in any relationship, it's about nurturing that relationship to continue that experience of whether it's happiness, because we can have joyful days, sad days, everything. But that, I think you used some words earlier, the pursuit of happiness, which is a very good phrase. So you sort of give us an insight into who Hannah is, and maybe this next question might fill in some of the gaps that we may have. So what do you like to, or what do you devote your time, energy, and money into?
I like traveling, so in any spare time I have, or would spend money on traveling, on holidays. Last summer, I took quite a bit of time out of work and actually went part-time, and I traveled up in Scotland, did the Northwest 500 and traveled to some of the islands. I hadn't explored that part of Scotland before, and I also did the Wild Atlantic Way in Ireland. So I value time exploring, time outdoors. I bought a tent, I bought a camper van. It did blow up on me, but that's something that I love to do in my spare time. And I do have lots of spare time outside of work and at the weekends. So I do spend a lot of time socializing with my friends, maybe going out for dinner, going out for drinks as well. And I will travel and spend money to see friends. I've lived in different places across the UK and Ireland, so I will invest weekends and money to go and spend time with people. And I think for those friendships, to have that fullness of friendships, you need to invest in them. And of course, sometimes it's not always easy, but the more time you spend with people, the better. I also, love bird watching and things like that. So I spend time as much as I can, invested in that. And I love to read. So I buy books online a lot on my Kindle, or, buy books from secondhand shops. So that's what I spend a lot of my time and energy in: traveling, exploring, and
you mentioned, I think you spent some time in Africa as well as the islands of the UK and Ireland. Any moments in that?
The first time. So I studied nursing, and as part of that training, I had an elective placement to Malawi. My good friend Jess, her parents lived there. So I traveled there for a month. That was my first experience of traveling to a sub-Saharan African country, Malawi. And then I lived in Uganda for 2.5 years. So something that I really enjoy and I'm passionate about is international health. So I worked as a midwife in Uganda for 2.5 years. And whenever I was there, I developed very strong relationships with friends and families and people I'm still in contact with until today. And in my most current role, I've been working as a senior research associate in academic institution, and have traveled to more than 8 sub-Saharan African countries and done work there and trained midwives. So I'm very passionate about women's health, as I've already said, and something that gives me great pleasure and happiness is working with midwives across different settings in different countries across the world. And that's something that I love to do and will continue to do. And I have to say that type of work, so I don't do my work for money. You know, I'm not that interested in salary. I'm not, that interested in career progression. But what I do value is supporting midwives to improve the services that they give to women, improve the quality of care, both in the UK and internationally. So that's what I continue to see myself doing. But yeah, happiness for me is not money at the end of the month. It's not, building houses or acquiring material wealth. I'm actually in the middle of moving back to Belfast, and I've just put all my stuff up on Gumtree for free because I don't even, someone will get the benefit of that. But I bought all my stuff in a local secondhand shop, and I just think, you're better. There's a lot of people in need. So yeah, I don't get great pleasure from material things or from money or things that money can buy. I value more time spent with people, investing into others, supporting them to do, in a professional sense, to become better midwives, and role modeling that as well. So that was my time in working in sub-Saharan Africa, and I have a desire, and a desire of mine will be to go back to work there. But we can't plan these things. Suppose some people believe you can have a 5-year plan, work towards it. I have never seen the benefit of that. I'll just continue to do what I'm doing as I'm led by myself, by choices I make, but also how God opens doors for me. So at the minute I'm moving back home, but in time I would love to continue to work in sub-Saharan Africa at some level, just to support the amazing work that people are already doing there. And whenever you do work in a different country, in a different culture, you begin to see what happiness looks like for other people. And often it isn't about money. Often it isn't about what you can acquire. It's often about where you are and being content with what you have, being really content with where you are and what you have. If you've got your health, if you've got a roof over your head. And, that sort of has inspired in me an outlook where the cup is always half full rather than half empty. I'll look for the positive. I don't think I'm an optimist by nature, but I will always find the positive in whatever situation and focus on that first rather than the negative aspects.
Fantastic. Certainly an interesting experience to observe different cultures in different ways, as you say, what happiness is to other people, because happiness in itself, to everybody, to so many individuals, is so individual, it's so separate, it's so different to everyone else around you. Fantastic to hear. Would you say, would you worry about things much? Would you have a few things that are top of your worry list, or do you even have a worry list?
Worry. I try not to worry. There would be things that I would maybe be thinking about or would burden me, but things that have affected me most in the past, I would say, would be if in work there has been an incident or an outcome that hasn't been good for a mother and a baby, and I've been involved somehow in the care, not even, where there has been anyone to blame, but being involved with difficult situations in work has always been something that has affected me on a professional level. That can be quite challenging. So there can be worry or fear associated with that. If you have to support people going through an investigation, or if you have to be part of that. Unfortunately, I have been in situations where there have been negative outcomes. So that professionally, that is the only thing really that has brought worry to me or fear to me in that professional sense. Another challenging experience was the place where I worked most recently. There was some bullying and harassment going on within the team, and that was quite difficult. It didn't affect me, but it affected other people. So I think some workplace situations can cause me difficulty. outside of that, I don't really worry about much. I do, as I say, I pray a lot. So, I will have burdens for people, or if I see someone who needs help or care, then I will for a time pray for them or hold them in my heart. And I don't know about them, but there is something about carrying that burden for people, whether it's just having a conversation with them, whether it's meeting up with a friend for dinner and just talking through the challenges they're having. I can talk and not worrying about things much. I think that's something that I've had to work through in my life. Specifically comparison. I think people who compare themselves with others always can lead to difficulties. Why have I not got a house? Why have I not got children? Why don't I have, a relationship? All those things are things that society, would say that you need to have, or there's value in that. So if you're married, you've got more societal value. If you've got children, you've got more societal value as well. So I've had to learn through my life to not engage in that and be content with what I have. Hopefully in time, I will have some of those things that are, I do desire that. I would desire to get married and desire to have children. But if you're sitting at night thinking about what you don't have, you can't actually force some of those situations. So I've had to learn and engage in not comparing myself with others, or not thinking about what I don't have. If you do that, that's the type of thing that would keep you awake at night, as opposed to being content with what you have. So that's a conscious thing that I do, and I make sure that actually that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah,
so no, I wouldn't say that I worry about things.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, worrying doesn't achieve anything.
No.
It actually can have a negative effect without achieving any positive result. So, as I say, I really appreciate your time and your conversation here. It's been very encouraging and great to hear. And if I could just finish up, I've just three very simple questions that you don't need to give a big long answer. Just give what comes to your mind to sort of wrap things up. So, first one, what am I grateful for?
I'm grateful for my health.
Excellent. Your health is your wealth, is what they say. I truly believe it these days.
Definitely, yeah. I'm grateful for my health.
Are my relationships going well?
Yes, I would say they are. With the relationships that I have, there's no one that I have unfinished business with. I may have friends that I'm not as close to, or maybe we're not friends anymore, but I've always, tried to finish things off well, or ensure that things are discussed or talked about. That would be something that I do. But the relationships I do have, yes, they're going well.
Fantastic. You made a few very key points there. Let's deal with any issues before letting them fester, to try and close them out.
Because you'll only regret it. Yeah, you regret things. Of course, we can all do things wrong. We can all treat people in a way that's not appropriate or bad. But I've found that unless you try and dig with that, whether it's through an email, you may not get a response, but just ensuring that you try and say you're sorry when you've hurt someone and been wrong. And also you have to own things that you've done or how your behavior can affect others. So I've tried to do that. And another thing that I think is important is to be accountable in relationships, not just let things go along as if everything's okay. If you want a good relationship, you have to be accountable and talk about challenging things. We're all very different in our outlook, in our religious beliefs, in our politics, and how we view the world, but that's not a reason to not be friends with people. So I try and have quite a diverse friendship group and invest in that specifically.
Excellent, excellent. And finally, how am I making the world better?
Just by being myself, I think.
Excellent. I think you're doing plenty
just by
of
being
things.
Available. Yeah, by being available and being myself. I'm someone who, I'm in what they call the caring profession. So in work and outside of work, that's what I try to do, just be available for people, not to the detriment of myself, but I think I am making the world a better place by being with people, doing the work I do, and also nurturing myself so I can continue to do that.
Yeah. Hannah, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you about some of these things and hearing some of your insights into some of these questions. And everyone answers some of these questions in different ways, but it's all about your own personal life and your own personal experiences and bringing that to that. And from that, whether you realize it or not, so many other hundreds, thousands, and millions of people in the world can learn from others' life experiences and your life experience. And as I said, I asked you reading the same books, but you said no, it's life experience. And through life experience, that's how we've learned so many things. And I have to say, some of I don't have the answers, by the way. I'm not a judge for right or wrong, but some of the answers you've said, they really do align with a lot of the thoughts and beliefs I would have. And I think it's amazing what you're doing. To me, it sounds like you're living a life of serving others and wanting to help others, and you've done that so many times by going to in your job, but even going to third world countries and helping out where others may not have that desire to go and help. And I think it's fantastic. It's an amazing work that you do, and as you say, you're helping other females and you're helping bring life into the world. So it's amazing, and I thank you for it. And really do appreciate your time for conversation.
Thank you, Brendan. Lovely to chat. Oh, you're so welcome. We'll definitely do a part 2. It'd be nice to be involved again. And it's good to reflect. It's not easy to reflect sometimes, but it is good to reflect. So thanks for taking the time, and I'll continue to reflect this afternoon on some of those thoughts.
Listen, it's been an absolute pleasure. I look forward to talking to you again soon.